Welcome to another Power Rangers HyperForce recap, episode 2. I wrote things down. I wrote notes, like I said I was. Am I gonna use them? Of course. We left off with them in the new HyperForce ship, and they're going to Angel Grove, 1994. Everyone's looking around. Marvin and Eddie looking for hangars where they can sleep. Chloe, she goes to the kitchen because she loves food. Jack is going and looking at the weapons, and Vesper is in the main control room because she loves technology. So for around 30 minutes, everyone's just chilling around and hanging around. Marvin finds this closet with cool jackets, but he can't open it since it's locked. Maybe we're getting some Sentai jackets. Anyway, so then Marvin comes back to the control room and he tells Alpha 55 how long does it take to reach Angel Grove. And the funny part is Alpha 55 is like, how long will it take? Well, we haven't left. And we're like, what you mean? We're still in 3017. Did we not move? Did we not leave? Nope, they did not. They're still in that time, and Jen Scott is probably outside waiting for them to launch and go somewhere. So then Marvin's like, oh, can you please launch us? And Alpha 55 like, alright, just look for 2 switches, one's for time, one's for flying. So on their way to Angel Grove, this is where they do a lot of 90s references because of the time. Oh, Alpha was like, oh, here's new clothes, here's 90s clothes to blend in. Chloe got some overalls and she was just like, why am I wearing farmer's clothes? Everyone was just making jokes like, oh, what's this thing that's tubular? And then like, we gotta learn this lingo. They told Alpha 55 what day or what specific day are they going, and Alpha 55 is like, we're going on October 31st 1994, so that is Halloween. And then Eddie was like, ooh, Halloween, what's that? And then I think Jack was like, oh, that's an old pagan holiday where they celebrate stuff. And Eddie's like, oh yeah, I remember, Halloween is where they dress up, take people's skins, dress up, get candy. And it was Halloween, watch your mouth. They were just making jokes because they're from the future, and apparently Halloween doesn't exist in the future. Apparently Marvin has this nickname that Jack gave him since they have that little backstory they have. His nickname was Marvy the Marvelous, and that was a little homage to Peter's favorite Ranger and Super Sentai, which is Captain Marvelous from Gokaiger. Halloween night, 1994 in Angel's Grove. This is where it gets funny because since they're from the future, they didn't know how to act, so they try to learn the language of the 90s, and they see people wearing costumes. Chloe's like, oh, I want some candy, where can we get some candy? Eddie was like, oh, I think you go up to a house, you knock on the door, you say trick or treat, and then they'll give you candy. So Chloe, Vesper go, and then they're like, trick or treat, and then a lady opens the door and is like, what are you guys supposed to be? And then Chloe's like, oh, I'm dressed as a 90s teenager. And then the mom's like, you mean just a normal teenager? And then Vesper's like, you know what, we're from the year 3000 and we just here to do a secret mission. And then Marvin comes rushing like, no, you can't tell people we're from the future, that'll like break space-time continuum and all. Now Eddie comes in and is like, oh, we're just teenagers, and over there is our little siblings, and they're afraid to go and ask for candy, so can you please give us some candy for us? The lady was like, oh yeah, sure, you know what, yeah, I'll be right back. So she comes out, she gets candy corn. It's like, here, you can have these instead. Vesper, she's like, ooh, what can we do with these? Can I trade you? So I get a vibe that she's like, she's kind of like Spock. I get the vibe of that. So she's like, ooh, here you go. Here is a tubular bar, or I forgot. I think that's what it's called. She's like, here is a tubular bar, and have that for yourself. Like, thank you. And then they're like, oh, we gotta get costumes. Like, what do you think? What should we do to get costumes? So they go and they find a store, a Halloween store, I guess, or just a normal store where they sell costumes. And then they're like, oh, like, what are we supposed to do? Like, how are we supposed to get these? Like, do you guys have money? Like, oh, no, we have money, but it's not money from their time. Marvin was like, you know what? I'm gonna look in my pockets to see if I can find anything. And he finds, I think it was a $20 bill, where he was like, oh, a $20 bill, we could probably buy a costume for that. Costumes are $12, so they got Chloe a cat costume. So they got costumes. Vesper was a dog, Chloe was a cat, and Jack was a samurai, I believe. I think Marvin stole the samurai costume for Jack. Marvin bought Chloe the cat costume with the $20 he had, and then since they didn't have enough for Vesper's dog costume, they did a little work in the shop to get the extra money. And the guy running it was like, you know what, I don't care, I need some help folding these clothes. Like, if you guys help me, you guys can take the costume. And they're like, okay. So as they're continuing their Halloween night, they come across the youth center from the original Power Rangers show. And then for some reason when they see it, Vesper decides to do a flip. So she does a flip. I guess because she's a dog. Jack tells Chloe, you're hyperactive because you're eating candy, so keep your hands to yourself and try not to hurt anyone. And Chloe's like, yes sir, in like a very adorable way. Eddie was like, oh my god, juice bar, I want to go try it out. And then Marvin's like, I'll race you to the juice bar. And they're like, alright, it's a race. So they go and they race to the juice bar. And Eddie wins the race. Vesper then goes to the balance bar and she tries to do what Kimberly does in the original Power Rangers, where she's like just practicing the gymnastics. I'm sorry, Evie. So while they're there, Marvin tries to talk with the people of the 90s, and he kind of he does a good job. He just doesn't know what to say when people ask him like, oh, where you from? So it's funny because Marvin told people that they were from Stone Cove, but when someone was like, oh, I'm from Stone Cove, what part are you from? And then he was like, oh, did I say Stone Cove? I mean, Jack was like, oh, he meant to say we're from Summer Cove. And then they were like, Summer Cove, where's that? And Eddie has the sass, the audacity to be like, between Fall and Spring Cove. I was like, boy, you're being sassy right now, right? You had one too many drinks already, alright? You gotta calm down. Chloe gets hit on by some guy wearing a muscle shirt, but Marvin comes in and is like, no, I'm sorry, she's with us, so, you know, we're trying to have a good time. For some reason, Vesper was really wild. She was really in the spirit of Halloween, I guess. She was trying to tell people that they were from the future and from the year 3000, but Eddie was with Ernie and they were having a conversation, and then Eddie was like, this is a good drink, like I don't have this where I'm from. And then Ernie's like, you can only get these drinks here, those pineapple smoothies. And as Eddie was about to drink one, Vesper comes in and just knocks the drink out of his hand, and she goes up to Ernie and is like, Ernie, we're from the year 3000. And then Marvin comes in and is like, no, you gotta shut up, she's playing around, she's just staying in her character of a futuristic dog. So at this point, Jack isn't feeling in place because he's pretty he's older than everyone else in this youth center. As he walks out, he sees a television screen and something is happening in the park near there. Apparently there's a spaceship flying up. The reporter is asking for the Power Rangers, but they're nowhere to be seen. So Jack was like, you know what, I have my team, I'm gonna call them in, like, hey Marvin, anyone there, like we have to go, there's something going on in the park and we have to go check it out. It's the same spaceship that the Alliance leader left on. They're like, alright, let's go. It's time to move out. So then when they meet up in the park, Jack was like, alright, Marvy the Marvelous. And Vesper was like, you know what, I want a nickname too. What can my nickname be? And then Marvin was like, you know what, we'll just call you V. And she's like, you know what, I like that. And then she looks at Chloe like, hello Chloe, what does your nickname want to be? And Chloe's like, it could be anything. And then she's like, alright, CeeLo. And then Chloe was like, except that. And it was a little funny moment, you know, I love that. So they decided to go to the park and there was people there. So they were like, oh, what can we do to make these people go somewhere else? And then Eddie was just like, hey, everyone in costume, go to the youth center. They're going to have a costume contest and whoever has the best costume gets free smoothies, a $20 bill. And that's pretty much it. You win free smoothies and a $20 bill. So everyone leaves the park except for one person, and that person was the guy who gave them the costumes in the first place, and he's being attacked by none other than the Putty Patrol from the original Power Rangers. Yes, they are in this episode. So Marvin rushes to one of the Putty Patrols, he grabs them, and then they disappear, and he's like, wow, they get defeated very easily. So this is the time where they actually do some RPG stuff where they have to roll to attack, take turns and stuff. It got a little bit confusing because it was the first time. Oh, well, it was confusing for me to watch because they kind of lost track who was next and stuff like that. But yeah, so then it was Vesper's turn, and then she was like, oh, I'm going to do a flip and a kick. And then they're like, alright, she rolled dice, she got a good roll, and she hit them, and boom, disappeared. Chloe was like, you know what, I'm going to ask Vesper for a boost so I can jump high and then punch him. She got a bad roll, and she just fell to the ground and didn't hit anyone. This episode was really tough to watch because for some reason, they just weren't getting good rolls. But Jack and Chloe were getting really bad throws. And whenever they did a teamwork attack, it was just a one. It was like, you're rooting for them to succeed, but they just can't because it's all about the rolls. The odds weren't in their favor, and that was really sad to see. So yeah, so once Chloe missed, one of the putty monsters just attacks Chloe and she takes damage. And then Eddie comes in and was like, you know what, I'm gonna get some of Chloe's candy corn from that one house she got, and I'm gonna use them as shurikens and throwing stars. So Eddie has a bunch and starts throwing it. He misses. He got a bad roll, so he misses, and was like, damn. And then Jack comes in and was like, you know what? Let's see what I have as a weapon, and he gets a sword. It's like, I'm gonna slash these enemies, but he misses, and everyone was just from that point, everyone was just a mess. They were just missing every attack, and this lasted for a while. So when Eddie missed, Vesper rushes to Eddie and was like, Eddie, I know you're upset, but I know something that'll make you feel better. And he's like, what's that? I have a nickname. It's time for you to get a nickname. And I want to know what your nickname is going to be. And then Eddie was like, well, Eddie is in my... And then she's like, your name is Edward. Edward will be your new nickname. And Eddie was just like, but Edward's already my real name. Eddie's my nickname. And she's like, no, it's Edward. And she's like, okay, it's Edward. Yeah, so I don't know what the purpose of that was, but... everyone got a good laugh out of it. After the first round of attacks, he took down 2 putty monsters, and after that, the guy who was in the costume, the guy who helped him get the costumes, decides to run away. And when he runs away, one of the putty monsters goes after him. So this is when Marvin decides to pull out his photon blaster and shoot, and it was a success. He shot the monster, and he goes down. So now I think there was like 2 more left. Jack was like, you know what? I'm gonna do one of my super attacks. I'm gonna grab Chloe from her dog costume, spin her around, and throw her to the putty. And they missed. Once Chloe lands on the tree, she's gonna jump off and hit the putty monster, but she ends up failing. So Eddie decides to help Chloe, and he does one of his special attacks and actually destroys one of the putty monsters. So there's 1 more left, and Marvin decides, you know what, I'm gonna go since I'm like right there, I'm gonna go for a punch. And he does, and it gets disintegrated and then disappears. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Look at me in the face. This is where it gets interesting. The ship comes down that was over the park. It opens up. An orange cone-shaped figure comes out of the ship and walks. And it's none other than Candius Corneus, a monster based off a candy corn. That's right. That's the monster for this episode. Yeah. And you know what? They know they don't stand a chance in their normal form. So they know that they gotta power up. And you know what? They're ready. It's morphing time.
HyperForce! Blue! Ready! Power up! HyperForce! Pink! Ready! Power up! HyperForce! Black! Ready! Power up! HyperForce! Yellow! Ready! Power up!
Boom! The HyperForce Rangers come out at last. Their first battle is a candy corn monster. Like I said before, this episode wasn't their episode and they missed a lot. Marvin goes for the hit. He misses. Chloe goes for the hit. She misses. Jack swings his sword. It has no effect. Vesper, she's like, you may be candy, but you're not sweet. And she goes for an attack, but she misses. So Eddie was like, Chloe, you've eaten these before. You've been eating this all night. Like, what are the weak spots? And she's like, the true weak spots are the orange area. So Eddie was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for the orange area. But when he attacks, but that area has no effect. Marvin goes for the attack and he ends up grabbing the monster. But since the monster is made out of candy, he just becomes sticky. And Marvin's like, I'm stuck. And then Jack was like, you know what? I'm gonna help him. So Jack does a follow-up attack, but the monster counters and he has this nasty breath attack. So he's just like, and then Jack's like, that breath, like, no, it's horrible. But Vesper, she does an attack that does affect. She does like this claw attack, so it kind of looks like she's chewing. And she rips out a piece, and that makes the monster jump back. So Eddie has this cool idea. Eddie thinks that some natural juices will defeat this monster. So what he decides to do is run to the juice bar and ask a barrel of pineapple smoothie. Everyone else is fighting this monster, and I imagine just a blue ranger just like, oh, gotta go to the juice bar. Eddie goes to Ernie and it's like, Ernie, I love your juice. I love your pineapple juice. They're the best thing in the world. Don't ever lose that talent. But I'm going to need a barrel of your finest pineapple juice. And Ernie's like, whoa, a barrel? Like, I don't even know if I have that much. So he goes to the back. And it turns out he does have a barrel of pineapple juice. So he's like, I don't know if I should give you this. And Eddie's just like, your pineapple juice is the best thing in the world, and I need it to help my friends. Ernie was just like, you are a Power Ranger. I guess I get to help one of the Power Rangers. But you look a little bit different than the ones I've seen on TV. And Eddie's like, I'm a different kind, but I'm still a Power Ranger. So Ernie's like, you know what? Go for it. Take the barrel of juice. Eddie just gets the barrel and runs back to the park. They're having trouble with the monster. Eddie's not there since he's in the juice bar, but the rest of the Rangers are having trouble. Vesper is the only one that seems to be doing damage. Vesper and Marvin decide to attack the monster together, and they end up hitting him. And then Chloe comes with the follow-up attack and grabs his eye. I think it was his eye. Grabs his eye and rips it out. After Chloe gets the eyeball out, she looks at it and then decides to lick it. And everyone is just like, whoa, how'd you lick it? You're in costume. You have a helmet on. And she's like, I found a way to lick it. I'm going to lick it. And then everyone was just like, maybe the mouthpiece of the helmet opens up, and from there we see her real lip, and she licks it, and then she goes back up. So Chloe takes a bite of the monster, and I think that's the first time in Ranger history. I just imagine it is like, she gets the eyeball, her thing goes down, and goes back up. Like, what? I think that's the first time ever in Ranger history. So then after that, Eddie comes in with the barrel of pineapple juice, and he's like, I'm gonna do a super mega throw. And throw this at the monster. So he does with his long arms. He's just like whoosh. The pineapple juice lands on the monster and he ends up dying. And Marvin's still sticky from the monster, and he gets hit by a white beam of light. They turn around and it's a mysterious figure coming out of the spaceship. No one knows what it is. They could probably be another monster. So what they all do is they come together and they shoot their attack at the same time. And the way they described it, I really like it. Each of their blasts is their color. So you see a blue, yellow, pink, red, and black, purplish attack that's just circling and hits the mysterious figure, but it has no effect. So the mysterious figure takes off its hood, and turns out it's the Alliance leader. So once Marvin sees him, he gets all mad. He rushes to the leader, ready to attack, but Eddie holds him back like, no, you can't do this. We're too weak. We don't know our powers yet. So Jack comes in and is like, you know what? I'm the adult. This is my team. I'm gonna protect you guys. So what he does is gets his badge and tries to arrest him, just like in Time Force. So when he does that, the beam comes out and goes to the mysterious figure, but it doesn't work. The mysterious figure ends up grabbing the beam and just pulls Jack closer, and Jack is struggling to arrest him, or Jack is struggling. So the mysterious figure decides to use his beam of light again and attack Jack, and that's when Jack takes damage. Jack is hurt and Jack is on the ground. He gets hurt so bad that he just unmorphs. Marvin doesn't know what to do, and he wants to go after the mysterious figure, the Alliance leader. I think Eddie and Vesper, everyone else was like, Alpha 55, get us out of here. We're in trouble. We need your help. Alpha is like, you know what? Okay, I'll get you guys out of there. They teleport back to their own ship, and Jack is hurt. So Marvin's like, please, Alpha, if you have a place that we can put him to keep him safe, please put him, like, he is our member, like, he is my friend, like, we gotta protect him. So Alpha's like, you know what, I have a good place, but he's gonna have to rest for a while. He's in the bed, I think with his heartbeat like beep, beep, like in a hospital. But then the ship shakes and the lights go off, and Alpha checks the monitor and they're being attacked by the Alliance leader. The Alliance leader doesn't quit. He's behind them, shooting them with his rocket ships. And the power goes out, and we're like, Marvin's like, oh, I don't know what to do. This is my team. Like, what do I do? Everyone's panicking. Jack is on the bed dying. Jack falls down off the bed, and then Eddie, I think it was Eddie or Marvin, who was like, you know what, I catch him, and they're on the floor like, oh my god, like, please, we need Jack to be alive. And pretty much Jack has no life. His HP was from 75 and it went to like 10, 15, I forgot what was the number. But he's pretty low on health and he can't do anything. He's still connected to the monitor, so his heartbeat is just like beep, 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 beep. They're just getting attacked, and they don't know what to do. Everything goes black, and all you hear is beep, 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 beep. That's where the episode ends. I know this is Power Rangers, but can someone die? Lost Galaxy, right? I think she died. But this is like someone actually dying, not like ah, and then like. But no, this is someone dying. Their heart is literally stopping. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think Jack is gonna die? Do you think Marvin is gonna step up and be leader? Do you think Vesper is gonna press the red button? Guess we'll have to find out. Tuesday, 6 p.m. Twitch.tv/HyperRPG. I'll be there. Will you? Thanks for watching, guys. As always, like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think of this episode, and let's have a conversation in the comments down below. I really want to know what you guys are thinking. As always, have a great day, or night, or wherever you are.